my wife now.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty awesome. We just came down from Colombia on the 30th. Today's the
Mm-hmm.
6th. So we've been here. We survived 6 days of honeymoon so far.
Yeah.
It's been pretty crazy. So we're going to just kind of recap on it because it's been a pretty fun turn of events, and figured it'd be cool to document it. Because a lot of it we don't even have like pictures or videos for because the phone died, and that's some of the
Mm-hmm.
craziest stuff. Like we literally lived through like a protest that's going on here in Colombia because of the high like gas prices and taxes and everything that's going on. And my phone was dead during it, so we'll definitely be recounting that part. But why don't we start from like when we first came down here? Like, what was what was the process?
Yeah.
What time is this flying on an airplane now? It's like 9 or 10.
What do you mean? Oh, like 30, 20, 30.
30, 20. You've been flying quite a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What was what was it like when we came down?
Um, it was definitely smoother than the last time because we didn't have to worry about your passport being expired. Although your Colombian passport was expired, they didn't have an issue with us leaving the country, but we had an hour layover in Bogota to
Yeah.
Cali. So we
We
were
went from
flying to
Miami to
Cali.
Bogota.
Yeah.
Wait, you forgot. We literally got off. So my mom wanted us to take a train
Oh, the
from
train.
West Palm
Okay,
Beach.
okay, okay. Hold on. Rewind. We have to talk about the train. So we decided to fly out of Miami because it was like $100 or so cheaper to fly to Cali from Miami than it would have been Tampa
Per person. So
per
like 200.
person. So Miami is about 4 hours south of Tampa. So we drove there, and
We drove to
our
West Palm.
understanding West Palm. Okay. So our understanding was that we would drive my car to the airport and just pay for parking. That way we could leave whenever we wanted to in the morning and have time to like get coffee and whatever. But no, Liliana had other plans. She preferred that we take the metro, the Miami
Liliana's
or West
my mom, by
Palm
the way.
metro. Yeah, Liliana is Ruben's mom, my mother-in-law. So she drove us to the train station, and there was a train leaving at 7 a.m. and 7:20 a.m. It would have taken about an hour to an hour and a half to get to the airport. That's if everything was running smoothly and the train wasn't busy. And we needed to be at the airport by no later than 9:30 because the flight was leaving at like what, 11:30? Boarding at 11:30, so that means you have to be at your gate around 11, ideally. So you can imagine we were already kind of in a time crunch if anything had happened with the train being delayed at any of the stops, okay? And then Liliana said once we got to the last bus stop, we would have to take another train then to the airport, and didn't really give us much information on which train to do. So anyways, we're pulling up to the train station. We're trying to buy the tickets. Liliana is putting her card in the cash slot. So the machine like broke.
She's
almost.
like half awake.
Yeah. We were all kind of like half awake. But the 7 o'clock train is pulling up as we're trying to buy the tickets. And so she's yelling at us to get on the train.
Yeah.
Gracias.
Gracias. Sí. Gracias.
And so Liliana is yelling at Ruben to get on the train and for me to stay and wait for the tickets.
So good.
But the people are getting on the train, the doors are closing, and the train is literally trying to take off. And Liliana is screaming for us to go get on the train, but the doors had already closed. So we were like, we hadn't had any coffee yet. We were just confused, like, what's going on? Then we're like, okay, we'll wait for the 7:20 train, and that's like not that bad. We probably would have made it if the train had come on time. Well, Liliana leaves for work and tells us to get the 7:20 train, and then come to find out the train was delayed either 30 minutes or an hour and a half. It was like it could come any minute, but it also could be an hour and a half. And if the train was delayed an hour and a half, we would not have made it to the airport on time. But Liliana kept telling us to wait. And at this point, I'm like, well, we're about to go on an international flight. We don't know how busy the airport is going to be, especially the Miami airport, because we've never been there. And
then we got to take another train.
And we would have had to take another train, and we didn't know like how intensive the security would be there. We just didn't think we would make it. So we ended up paying $100 for an Uber. And when I tell you, we were literally just on time for the plane. Like, there was not much waiting around once we got to the gate. I think we waited for like 15 minutes when we got to the gate to board the plane. So like the Uber was got us there just on time, and the train ended up being delayed almost an hour. So we got to the airport, we got to the gate, everything was fine. They took Ruben's passport and everything. Then comes our layover in Bogota.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about the layover?
Yeah, I mean, when we got there, we realized we had like 45 minutes to go from point A of the airport to point B, like the complete opposite side. And we were asking people like,
and Bogota is the biggest city.
Yeah, Bogota is the biggest city in Colombia. It's the biggest airport. And we were like going around asking people like, hey, we have this much time. What can we do? So they like, eventually we ran into these people from Avianca, which is the flight that we're, the brand of
the airline.
The airline they were flying with. I couldn't remember the word. And they gave us a priority pass, and we're like running through the airport, waving this priority pass, trying to go through customs, like international customs.
We had to go through, yeah.
And then we had to go through La Aduana because it's still taking a national flight now from Bogota to Cali.
So we're two different securities.
Yeah, two different securities, and we're sprinting in between these. I think Tiff's Woot registered she was running for like 40 minutes.
Yeah.
Like 20 of those were in zone 5. And we were sprinting through the airport.
Sprinting through the airport, stopping and starting. He was carrying his book bag and a small handbag, a small suitcase. I was carrying my book bag that was stuffed full. And I did not have good running shoes on. I basically had on like grounding shoes.
Yeah.
That were not gripping onto the airport floor at all. But each person that we asked basically would say like, oh, it's over that way and it's like gate D. But the gates there were labeled like D6B.
Like D36D or something like that.
Like it was like 3 and 4 letters.
And we're running around asking each person like, where's this gate? Where's this gate? And they're like telling me in Spanish, of course, because they only speak Spanish. And Tiff's like barely understanding any of this.
I just like was basically relying on Ruben to relay the information to me so that I could know where to run, or else I would just have to follow him. So we were running through the airport, and then maybe we were maybe 10 or 15 minutes from the gate, and it was 30 minutes past the time that the boarding pass said. But in America, your boarding pass, the time on it, you need to be at your gate 30 minutes before the time that's on your boarding pass, because the time that's on your boarding pass is the time that plane is taking off. We found out once we got to the gate that is not the case in Colombia. The time on the boarding pass is basically recommended to when you should be at the gate. So the plane wasn't even taking off till an hour after the time on the boarding pass, but we had no idea. Because we didn't know.
And when we get to the gate D, they tell us to go downstairs. So we go downstairs.
And by the way, I thought we had missed the flight, so I was done running.
Tiff was about to cry.
I was crying.
We got downstairs, and there's buses. We're like, what is going on? Because the gate told us to be there. We thought we were going to be meeting an airplane, but it was a bus. In my head, I'm like, what is about 8.5 hours by bus? What are we doing here? So I talked to them, and it turns out the bus is just going to take us to the airplane. So in most airports in America, there's trains and stuff. In Hartsfield, Atlanta, there's trains or
what's that thing called? The little hallway that you walk in your gate to the plane. It's a little hallway. You don't know what it's called?
No. You're talking about I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay.
But anyway, so there's usually trains in America, and we had to literally take a bus to the airplane. Then we all board the airplane patiently. The whole time I was scared because I'm like, we're gonna have to do a bus ride.
I wasn't worried about that. I did not think they would take us on a bus. There were too many people on the bus for it to be an 8-hour bus ride. But I was so caught up on the fact that we just sprinted through the entire airport
to get to a bus.
And then be taken to the plane.
Which took like another hour.
It was just so stressful. And on the way back home, by the way, to the States, we will have another 1 hour layover.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
In Bogota.
Yeah. So recap after that. The next day we were flying out to Cartagena, and that went great. We got to Cartagena. We got on a taxi. The taxi even hooked us up with another tour. And then we got to the hotel. The hotel check-in took a little bit longer than expected. And we actually got the penthouse suite or whatever, right? It was like the highest.
I mean, it wasn't the penthouse, but it was all the way at the top. It was the 18th
It was the highest floor.
And it had beach views. So we had water views. It was a nice big room. It had music that played like through the ceiling.
And like themes, like romantic themes.
It was very nice. And then all of a sudden it starts raining. And so I go to open up the window and we see water just gushing into the room through the window sill. And
Before you opened it.
It was when I opened it. Like I opened it and saw it.
Yeah, but the water was already inside.
Well, yeah, the water was already inside, but I saw it by opening the window.
Okay.
Yeah. So we saw it, and then we look at there's like
a major leak, flooding inside the room.
And
we gotta overlay the pictures or videos or something.
Yeah, we will. And so we were literally in a conversation about like what are we gonna do for dinner? Look at the room. Yada, yada, yada. And it's like, oh shit, now the room is flooding. And it had already taken so long to even get checked in the room. We were like, do we even say anything to them? But it was so bad that like the paint was detaching from the wall.
Yeah.
Because it was filling with water.
Yeah.
Excuse me. And and so then we were like, okay, let's go down there. So we went down there. We get in the elevator and there's another couple and they're going down to the main floor as well. Their room is also flooding from the rain. So we're like, okay, so this is not just an our room issue. And we go down there and they have another room for us. And they're like, oh, it's an upgrade. It's an upgrade. And we get into the other room and it wasn't flooding. So yeah, that's an upgrade. But it didn't have the beach view and it didn't have the music. And it had 2 smaller beds instead of the 1 big bed. But the bed honestly ended up being fine. But overall, it just wasn't the best check-in experience at the hotel, but we did have a great experience overall at the hotel. Because, I mean, they had nice amenities.
It was just that they downgraded us to like a not as nice room.
Yeah, and then they tried to
even though it was their fault. And they tried to charge me taxes because they found out I was Colombian. So it's crazy right now. And this is probably part of why they're protesting. Americans don't have to pay taxes in tourist places here. Like, they don't have to pay any state tax, right? It's like housing tax.
Or it's just included into the cost of the admission or whatever you're paying.
Yeah, but Americans don't have to pay it, and then Colombians do. So they're trying to charge me like 250,000 pesos,
which would be like over $50. Well over $50.
Yeah, and well, anyways, we're good on that. But so then the next day, we had our first trip, and that was at 8:30 in the morning. And we had breakfast at the hotel. Mm-hmm. That's included. And then we get on the trip. It was pretty awesome. Do you want to tell them about the trip? Like how everything happened? Because we didn't realize something bad happened during the trip until the next day. But yeah.
Well, okay. So the trip was a 5-island tour. You get on a boat with other people that booked the same tour, and you basically get shown around to these 5 islands, and each island has a different experience that you do on it. So the first stop was actually in between 2 or 3 islands, and it was one of Pablo Escobar's plane crash sites.
Well, we actually checked out like Boca Chica and Boca Grande, which was like the one where they had the 2 forts, where they told us the history where it was like Spain owned Cartagena, and they had like forts at each end of the bay, and then like the bay would come in like this, and they had like a mouth. They had like 1 fort here, 1 fort here, and when pirates would come through, they would shoot cannons and destroy their ships so they couldn't invade. You remember that? And they had like a prison where they would throw pirate prisoners into a pool full of sharks. That's what he was telling us.
Yeah.
And then he took us to Escobar's. It was basically like a small like house slash island in Cartagena. He had like his own private island, and he mentioned that there was a plane crash site, and the plane was like an attraction. Like there was like it was like surrounded by floaties and markers, and it's basically you could go and you could dive in without your life vest and free dive and touch the airplane. So I actually got to free dive and touch Escobar's airplane. There were like 4 other people from the tour that did it. Tiffany didn't want to do it, but it was pretty cool. It was like at least like probably like 15 feet down and just free dove down. I touched just the hull of the airplane. It was pretty fairly long. It was like a smaller airplane, but still fairly long. And it's been down there for about 20, 30 years. So it's pretty fairly rusted, had a lot of moss on it. It's pretty cool. Right? So after we did that, did we go snorkeling after that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, do you want to tell them about that?
Yeah, so we went and got taken to a little area of water that was kind of like in between the islands. So we weren't on an island, we were out kind of like farther away from them. But we were on top of a big coral reef where we were then going to jump off the boat and then basically just snorkel, look at the reef, just look at animals and swim around for a little bit. Not everyone on the tour got off the boat, but we both jumped into the water to snorkel.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. You see any big reefs.
Yeah, it was my first time seeing coral for like first time ever. It was beautiful. There were a bunch of different fishes that we got to see. I was a little disappointed that I didn't see any sea turtles, but that was the biggest thing I was looking forward to. But apparently we think during that snorkeling trip that I got kissed by jellyfish or something because
by an aguamala.
Yeah, which is like a specific.
It's a Portuguese man o' war. Portuguese man o' war. It's a big jellyfish, and we think she may have like gotten kissed by one of the tentacles. You want to show?
Well, it's covered up.
Oh yeah.
You know? But we can overlay a picture.
Yeah.
But it started out as just like a red mark. So I honestly thought it was a red mark from the life vest, like touching my leg. Because the life vest was kind of big, and then the bottom of it had like a plastic piece that was protruding that was kind of annoying. And that's what I thought it was, like just like a rash from that. But the red mark it started growing, and it was kind of in the shape of like a tentacle.
Blisters.
And then it started growing blisters like within 2 days. We'll overlay a picture below, but it stung. It was kind of itchy. And I also got one on my arm, and it left like little, I don't know if you could see it on the camera, but the markings look just like the markings from the tentacles of the aguamala that we looked up. But the craziest thing is I didn't feel it when it happened while we were snorkeling, which is why I think I was just kissed by one. Like maybe the tentacles just kind of brushed by me, because I can't imagine actually being stung by a jellyfish and not feeling it. So I don't know. It's healing up well now because Ruben's stepmom and dad got me some medicine and some cream, and it's healing up and it's not going to be an issue. But it was just crazy that like I didn't feel it, and we didn't really know what else it could have been from.
Yeah, we didn't even know it happened.
And we didn't know
during the trip. Like we just kept going during the trip.
Yeah, we just kept going, and then by the next day it was like, oh, this kind of hurts, like whenever my clothes touch it. So maybe that's a problem. And then it started like blistering up really bad, and we were like, what the fuck is going on? And Ruben kind of had one on his leg too, but it healed up. It didn't blister really. But anyways, the snorkeling was awesome. Then we went to Cholon. No, the lunch island first.
Yeah, we went to the lunch island. Yeah.
Okay,
we
so
went
you
to
told them about the lunch.
And had fried fish. And this lady came up to Tiffany and like started massaging her and like was offering her a massage. So naturally she took it.
Well, here's the thing. I wanted to talk about this.
Yeah, the group went to like a private island and we were being fed lunch. But meanwhile, we waited and we were preyed on by the natives.
Yeah, there's like local. I wouldn't say preyed. We were solicited by the natives. So a lot of times, on these like big tourist islands in Cartagena and even in the city itself, there's people then locals that live there, and they'll sell things that are convenient to the tourists. So, for example, they would be outside of our hotel selling like sombreros and selling beach shoes and like the little cases for your phone so that they're waterproof, which actually came in such handy for Cholon. And then just like things that you would need for the tours. And then on the beach, the private lunch island, a lady comes up and she's offering massages. And Ruben was like, she's probably going to charge you a lot. So we said no. And that's the thing about these people is you can't just say no. You have to be like, no, thank you. Like you have to be stern. And I thought I was stern. Then she started touching my shoulders and she was like, muy tense, muy tense. So I was like, oh, okay. Because like, I didn't want to pass up the opportunity to get a massage on the beach with the sound of the waves and the wind and the fresh air.
It was nice.
It was very nice. Even though I paid way too much, it was worth it. 70,000 pesos?
Yeah.
For those that don't know, that's like $30, $40. $30 or $40 for a 20-minute massage on the beach. So, but we also had some limonada de cocos. And then we had our lunch of the fried fish. And it was literally
coconut rice.
It's not like fried fish in America. It's literally a whole fish that's just been fried.
It's sea bass.
Yeah, sea bass. No breading or anything. But it was super fatty and super flavorful and super meaty. And the coconut rice was good. And then little like fried plantains with a small salad. And then we didn't do much else at that island. Then we went to Cholon.
Yeah. Cholon. It's like Sin Island or something. That's what they call it.
Oh, that's what they call it?
It was basically like a bunch of boats surrounding this small little island. And there's people selling like cigars, hookahs. We saw everything. Like
there was a guy on like a kayak catching oysters. Literally, we saw him like pull up a big thing of oysters from the ocean, and then he would crack them right there and make you a plate of like oysters with hot sauce and lemon and crackers but everything there was so expensive. It was like American prices because a lot of the people that were there were traveling on vacation and they assumed that they had the money. But what was really interesting was that like the whole party was in the ocean. Like I would say maybe about chest
waist
deep,
high, yeah.
Waist high.
Chest deep,
sometimes, yeah. And there were these tables with big umbrellas in the ocean, and everyone is just standing, like drinking around with their Coco Locos. And there was a guy like with a handle of something, vodka pouring
pouring it in people's mouths.
Yeah, it was definitely not our vibe, but we made it work. We made it fun. We danced a little bit.
There was a twerk contest.
There was like a twerk show. Yeah, on one of the boats. That was like the entertainers of Cholon, the island. And we'll have to definitely put a clip of that because that was fun to watch. Well, we didn't really buy much of that island because it was expensive. We enjoyed some ceviche and we walked around. There were these guys there like that had goggles. They were locals and they were diving in the water to look for dropped money. It's like where people had dropped their money and phones and stuff like that. He found like 10,000 pesos just while we were there watching him.
Yeah. Yeah, Cholon was fun. After Cholon, we went to Bora Bora. Yeah, we had some fruit. I had some orange juice. She had pineapple. You had a pina colada.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. We made some cat friends, dog friends. I didn't think we mentioned, but we did go out to eat the night before. Like, we went to this Italian Colombian place that was really good, seafood. And they also got a picture with the ladies.
The fruit
hats.
ladies, yeah.
Fruit ladies.
If you look up Cartagena fruit ladies or Colombia fruit ladies, there's these ladies in these beautiful dresses that are inspired by the Colombian flag, and they walk around with fruit bowls on their head, and you basically take pictures with them. And inside the walls of Cartagena, it's like a tourist attraction because you take the picture with the ladies and you're in front of the beautiful Spanish-inspired architecture. And then we did that, and it was 20,000 pesos just for the pictures.
Yeah.
And the one lady, she didn't take the best pictures, but it was still good. So that was the first night.
What did we do on the second night after we got back from the island tour?
I
think we might have gone straight to sleep.
I think so. I think we went like straight to bed after that night because that was a big day. Because we were on the boat for a long time. We were soaking up sun. Did we go out?
I don't remember.
I don't think we went out that night.
No, maybe not.
No, but so the next morning we decided to have the day to ourselves. So this is the second day in Cartagena, and we didn't want to be like booked for a tour.
Yeah.
On the second day because we knew we would be tired. I think we got back at like almost 9 p.m.
Third day, but yeah.
Third day of the honeymoon, second day in Cartagena.
Second full day in Cartagena.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So second day in Cartagena, we didn't want to be booked.
We went to the beach.
We went to the beach that morning.
Yeah, the beach was kind of dirty.
I'll say my experience as someone who lives in Florida on one of the most beautiful beaches in Florida.
Yeah.
We were a little bit spoiled going into Cartagena and staying on the beach in Cartagena. So
Clearwater Beach is way nicer.
The sand was just overall very dark, and that alone gave it kind of like a dirtier, muggier appearance. But on top of that, I guess there's so much tourism that goes on at that beach that it's harder to keep clean. There were not very many trash cans along the beach, so you would see like just trash all along the beach, and honestly, we just didn't feel clean getting out of the water. Like when we get out of the water at home, we feel refreshed and like mineralized.
I don't even take a shower till the next day.
We don't really take a shower, but yeah, we wanted it. We felt just sticky getting out of the water, and that's something we had never really experienced before. But it was pleasant. We went out there, got some sun. But there was just a lot of people on the beach that was haggling us for all kinds of stuff.
Right. Yeah. Well, after the beach, we went to El Mar de las Antillas. And that was like one of the most recommended restaurants like in the town. And it was definitely worth it. Like we went in and I got cazuela de mariscos, like so much seafood in this casserole. And it was just so good. We got ceviche. It was probably the best ceviche we've ever had.
It was so good. It was octopus, sea bass, put out shrimp and onions and
I don't remember what all seafood. There were mussels,
Yeah, mussels and like limon and salt. It was just very well seasoned. Like it was one of those ceviches where you take a bite and like your salivary glands just kind of explode. You didn't need to add any hot sauce or anything to it.
So I got cazuela de mariscos and you got arroz, like semi-wet rice, right? You got arroz con mariscos. It's kind of wet rice.
It was like wet rice with seafood, and it was very cheesy and had tomate. And
it was almost like a risotto.
Yeah, like I would say a seafood risotto.
Yeah.
That's how I would describe it. It was so good. And then the decorations, we'll have to put a video up.
We couldn't even finish the food. The decorations were beautiful.
Were beautiful. But we could not finish the food because it was so nutrient dense and just like all the fish is being caught fresh because we're right there in Cartagena. And so we could barely finish it. And we ended up taking it to go, but then we gave it to somebody, the guy that we bought water. Yeah, we ended up giving it to somebody
because we walked in the rain from the restaurant. We walked over to Castillo de San Felipe, which is San Felipe's castle. This is a castle that was built between 1550 to like 1714 or something like that. Mm-hmm. It took about 150 years to build it.
Longer than that.
Yeah. Yeah, they didn't really finish construction until like 1750, so it was like almost 200 years to build it. And it was the king's castle from Spain, where he ruled over like not the king himself, but King Felipe owned the castle, and like his rulers would rule out of there, right? Like the castle, and they would. It was like armored. There was like cannons all over it. It was really cool. Like definitely recommend if you're gonna go check that out.
Yeah.
And it was how big would you say? I mean, it was like a mountain of a thing.
Almost like a mountain.
Huge castle.
It was huge, but what was cool about it was that there was a lot above ground, but there was probably just as much underground.
Just as much underground.
Like they don't even have it all open to the public because we saw multiple staircases where they were locked. They would have like a big door that locked it, but you could still see through, like just like a gated door, and we would shine our flashlights, and you would just see like a dark staircase that goes all the way down. So there was probably so many like tombs and rooms of underground.
Right.
Like, I'd love to learn more of the history of like who did they keep under there? Is that where they kept prisoners? Is that where the more important people stayed? You know, like that's what I want to know. But we did get to go to some of the underground stuff. They had like underground hallways, and oh yeah, and then like in the hallways, you would go straight, then there would be like little empty, what would you even call those? Like rooms? Just like small little rooms?
There were these little rooms. They were basically like tactically hidden so that if an enemy comes by and they don't see you, you can just like strike them on the head. Right? Or like it was like guerrilla tactics where you could hide. So it's like really almost impossible to like invade it because they had so many traps set up everywhere. And they were talking about, the tour guides were talking about how they were like, along the castle walls, there would be spikes and traps where people like they would push people down if they were trying to climb up the walls. So it was like really secured, and there were tons of like bronze, like middle-aged cannons from the Spanish Inquisition that were in the castle. Just like the entire thing was guarded. It was really cool.
Yeah, and then after that we walked.
Yeah, that was huge. I mean, we spent like an hour and a half just trying to go through the whole thing. Maybe 2 hours, really. Yeah. From there, we walked to the park, the Parque de los Gatos, right? Where all the cats were. Yeah, we parked. We went to the Boots. So yeah, we went to the Boots. We went to the Chocolate Museum. There was like these big statue of Boots, the Chocolate Museum. Then we went to the Monumento de la India, which is like another big statue over there. And then we went to this park where we saw like all these stray cats. It was like, what, like 20, 30 stray cats?
Yeah, and
that
a few
the
dogs.
city adopted apparently. Yeah, and a few dogs.
Yeah, and they looked well taken care of, cats. But the park was closed. But we still got to spend some time there petting the cats. I think we got a few videos of that.
And then we went to the walls of Cartagena, and we checked out the walls. We just walked alongside there and kind of watched the sunset there. And then we went back home. What else did we do that night? We went out to eat later.
We went out to eat, didn't we?
Yeah, we had pizza.
Another little Italian spot.
Yeah, that was good.
It was like flatbread pizza. That was all we did that day.
And then probably my favorite day was the next one where we went to El Volcán de Tutumo.
So now we're on day 3.
Yeah, this is day 3. Third full day, 4th day there. Yeah.
Right. So,
this was probably my favorite day. This was the most eventful day.
So this was the most eventful?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So this was another all-day tour that we had booked for the Volcano de Tutumo. And it's I
think a total it's like 50 each. Maybe even less.
Total price?
Yeah.
Okay. But it's not like a huge volcano, but it's one that goes really, really, really deep into the ground. I think something like 2,300 meters.
Yeah, 2,300 meters.
And
deep. It's not very tall, but it's like it goes really deep.
Really deep, and it's filled with volcanic mud. It's not hot, but it's like slightly warmed by the earth.
Yeah.
And they've turned it into a tourist attraction, but it's been said, according to some, we did a little bit of research. According to legend, that it was used in religious ceremonies and rituals throughout native peoples of Colombia, and then even the Spaniards used it once they came over. And the legend and myth of the volcano is that it was once spewing hot lava, but then a Spanish priest, a Catholic priest, put holy water into the volcano, and then it turned into mud, which was believed to be highly nutritious for the skin because it had minerals and
and they package the mud and they sell it because supposedly it has good properties for your skin. Yeah.
And so basically that experience was that you would get in the volcano.
Yeah, we got in the volcano. We had people massage us. Mm-hmm. Yeah. There were like 5 guys in there massaging people.
Just like rubbing them down with the mud.
¿Traes otra soda italiana de coco, por favor?
Yeah.
Sí, muchas gracias.
And so you're in there, and then you're basically, there's someone else that's like watching your shoes, holding your phone, taking pictures of you.
Yeah.
And then, so we were in there for, I don't know, maybe 45 minutes.
Yeah, we're in there for about 45 minutes. We get out and you like feel heavy with mud. And it's almost like a rebirth experience. Like you're being rebirthed by the earth. Like you come out of this volcano. By the way, it's super deep, but you can't sink. It's like impossible to sink. Like we literally tried
because it's
to
so
sink under
thick.
and it wouldn't let us go below.
It was actually hard to like go from laying to standing because it was like weighing you down.
Yeah.
You had to like use someone else to help you like sit up.
Yeah.
But once you were sit up, you could literally like just float. And it's a different floating experience than water, where you kind of have to put in effort. You kind of have to breathe.
It's warm, but it's not so warm that it like makes you feel hot. It's like body temperature.
It was honestly a little cooling because the sun was like blaring down.
Yeah.
So I was like putting it on my shoulders, and as soon as you put it on your shoulders, you like instantly feel this relief of not feeling like you're burned by the sun.
I think it has this mystical. I think it has like a mystical experience of like you're in your Mother Earth's womb, because it's like you're just in there and it's like perfectly warm but not hot, and you're just floating and you can't sink and you're just there cradled,
almost like a sensory experience.
And then you're rebirthed into the earth. You come out of it and you got all this mud on you. Like when you're a baby, you have all this like goo on you, right? You have your umbilical cord.
Yeah, some babies.
And then you have to walk. Obviously babies don't walk, but you have to walk from the volcano to the river. And then these ladies, so you're like trusting in other humans to then bathe you.
Yeah.
You pay them 5,000 pesos, which is like not even
like
a dollar. It's like $1 and then a little bit. Mm-hmm. And they bathe you. Like they literally take like a bucket, and they start bathing you, washing all the mud off of you. Mm-hmm. And they really have to help you because like you have so much mud, so you couldn't
crazy.
Get it all yourself.
In every orifice of your body. Like these ladies were in the pants of my swimsuit, brushed, like literally their hand was like making contact with my cooch, but they were just helping me get all of that out because it was in there too. I mean, it was, and they were like touching everywhere on your body, just trying to help you get all the mud off. And then it was really pleasant, honestly, because they like held your hand and walked you into the lake, and then they helped you walk out. And as you're getting out, they're still cleaning you, making sure that there's no excess mud.
I mean, it's like princess treatment.
Yeah, like we felt like royalty, honestly, because they were just so accommodating. And then we sat down and waited for everyone to get done. We had an empanada that we were charged way too much for. But it was worth it. I like having the means to support like small business like that. That's another thing that I've been kind of contemplating on every time we're in Colombia. Like it literally is not very much like corporate.
No, it's all small business.
It's all small business. Everything that your dad and Esther do, that's all small business, except for like Jardin Plaza, but that's the mall. But literally just everywhere you go, it's the people that are servicing you are these local people that have likely been there their whole life, and like that small little island or like that small little plot of land that you're on, they've been there their whole life, and that's their livelihood, is like taking care of the people that come to see the beautiful piece of land that they live on. So it's like no problem paying them what they charge.
Yeah.
So it's really cool.
We went from the volcano to a Cocoa Beach, and it was
Cocoa
like
Beach.
A club. Yeah, it was like a club with a pool, and we got lunch there again. It was the same thing, right? Fried sea bass, coconut rice, little salad, and some plantains. And that was really good. We had some consomme.
And the water, the panela.
Yeah, the agua panela. That was good.
Yeah, that was good.
And we were there for like 3 or 4 hours just talking to people and tanning.
The people that we were on that trip with, they were very lively and like.
They were a lot of them were from America. It was pretty cool. There was like a lawyer from the military who was from Maryland, and then this guy who used to be a nurse and is now retired early because he got his the person he was taking care of, he got his fortune or something, like passed it down.
Yeah,
it's like a really interesting story. They were all really cool people. And then we left. When we came home that night, we ended up going out. Right, that was the night that we went on the horse carriage ride. Yeah, so we got home from Cocoa Beach, from Volcano. We rested for a little bit, cleaned up, and then we went back downtown.
Yeah, that's when we started noticing the thing on my leg was like
Oh yeah, the thing on her leg
really
started
bad.
blistering up.
And we were kind of
Oh,
like,
shit.
yeah, I don't really know what to do, but yeah, because we didn't bring any of the salvation balm or anything, so I had nothing to like put on it. But we still went on the horse carriage ride, and honestly, of the things we did inside the walls, that was my favorite.
Yeah, the horse carriage ride. Yeah,
ride,
absolutely.
because
That
we
was
got to
beautiful.
learn so much about the city.
I bought a Cuban cigar at some point.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure the day before I bought a Cuban cigar.
Yeah.
We bought some beer. We rented a horse carriage ride with a tour guide through the city. And that was like 30 to 45 minutes. And he was telling us all about the city. And like, there's so much history there. Like,
so much history.
Spanish counts, dukes, they were all inhabiting Cartagena. It at one point was one of the richest countries in the world in the 1700s. And it was owned by Spain. It's the second oldest city in Colombia. They was just telling us all the houses, like Shakira's house, Juana's house, like all the counts and archdukes, like which places they stay in.
Yeah, and like the architecture, the churches were insane. Like it was just, you could tell it was super super old, but very very well maintained, and the insides were just beautiful, like massive walls with the beautiful colored stained glass and like marble floors, marble statues inside the church, and these beautiful oak wood the things, the pews that you sit on at church. It was just so beautiful. I would have loved to attend a church service there, but it was so cool to see like a building where generations and generations of people have worshiped God in. Even if you don't believe in Catholicism, I mean, it's still cool to be there. We stopped at the front of the church and said a little prayer, a little private prayer. And then that was when we went to the church, but we're talking about the horse carriage ride.
Yeah, the horse carriage ride was awesome, man. There was just so much cool stuff. Like so many, he was telling us about how many movies have been filmed there. And,
yeah, we should watch one of them just to see what it was like.
Oh yeah, lots of pictures and
yeah. And it was funny because we were trying to find a horse that didn't look hungry. There was a few horses that looked very, very small, but we found a healthy looking horse, and the tour guide was great. It felt awesome just being able to like go and see the whole city. I think we like went almost through every single street within the 45 minutes, at least all the main ones.
Yeah. And then we got a pizza and a lasagna.
You had a burger.
I got a burger and she got a lasagna. And we had this guy come up to us and just start singing. Yeah, that was pretty cool. Yeah. And then after that, we came back to the hotel and we did karaoke night because it was like we found out they had a discoteca.
Yeah.
Discoteca in the hotel, and so we finished off the night with karaoke. So it was pretty cool. I sang Tabaco y Chanel, Babacilos, just a classic Colombian song. I should have done like a harder song, but I was like, I don't know, I was kind of tired, to be honest with you. But it was pretty awesome. And then the next day, what did we do? We just got up. I had like a pretty big headache, probably from smoking a cigar and having a beer, which I like never do. My body was like, "What are you doing?" And I was also having some stomach problems the whole trip. I'm still having a little bit. 6 days later.
Yeah.
Probably from the fried fish. I don't know what it could have been.
Yeah.
But anyways, the last day we literally like just spent it getting ready to go back. So we had to recover somehow. So we like had some juice, had some water. We tried to go shopping, but all the dresses there were like 1.5 million pesos, which is like almost like $400 per dress.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like that's ridiculous. Are we sure that it didn't say like 140,000? And then you know how like in America it'll say like 599 and then 0.99?
No, I'm sure.
Well, anyways, it's believable. It was like we went into a few stores and they were all like designer. Oh my gosh, it was crazy expensive. I mean, well above American prices for clothes. But so we definitely didn't bring enough money to like shop for clothes there. But it was still cool getting to see all the beautiful shops. And
then when we got back, as soon as we're in Cali, my dad's partner calls us and she's like, "Hey, we have a protest going on right now. It's all over the country. They've blocked up the highways from the airport. So we're not sure how we're gonna come get you. We're stuck under a bridge.
Like you couldn't get onto the bridge because they were blocking every single lane.
The entire highway.
So regular cars could not get across the bridge to the city that the airport was in.
We literally took a taxi and they called us and we're like, don't take a taxi. They're not going to be able to drop you off. You'll have to walk an hour. And this is from Palmira to Cali. So like, it's a little dangerous in that area, in that highway. So we're like, okay, well, we don't want to walk. So the taxi had to turn around. I actually gave him a little bit of money because I was like, I'm sorry about that. Like, we're just not going to do this. And they actually ended up sitting motorcycles, two guys, each on a motorcycle. Like it was almost like dirt bikes to come get us.
So in Colombia, Cali is specific. Actually not even Cali specific, just Colombia specific. So the major cities are so populated that a lot of people, I don't know if it's just a lot of people can't afford cars or it's just easier to get around on the motos. But you see more motorcycles than you see cars because so many people are inhabiting the city. If everyone had a car, you would never be able to get anywhere.
Yeah.
So most people are on these motos and there is no like traffic lanes. Okay. You just go where you can go in Colombia. So basically the only people that could get through the blockade are the motos.
The motorcycles. So,
and honestly, I respect their hustle. Like they see an issue, they're like, "Oh, you need to get somebody from the airport? I have a motorcycle. Hop on." So basically, Ruben's dad and
so there's like a national crisis, and they're like, the only people that come get you are motorcycles. So they send us these pictures of these random people we don't know. And they look sketchy. So we're like, oh shit.
We need to put the picture up because they did look a little.
The picture that they sent us, they look sketchy. I think it was just a bad picture. But the guys seem really nice.
The guys were really nice, yeah. But they were like, okay, these people are going to come get you on a motorcycle. We had 2 book bags, an umbrella, and a suitcase.
I haven't ridden a motorcycle in like decades either.
Same. I haven't been on a motorcycle in
we had 2 bags and suitcase,
Suitcase, and like people here don't wear helmets on the motorcycles, and we didn't know these people and their capability of driving a motorcycle. But we had to get home from the airport. Like we couldn't have stayed at the airport, so...
we get on these motorcycles. We get on these motorcycles, and then we get on the highway. Yeah, I didn't film it because I was scared to drop my phone, and it was in my back pocket. But anyway, so like we get on, and I'm sure we can find some footage of it online, of like because it's a national crisis, and it's like people were blocked off from the airport. Somebody had to take a video.
And when we get to the blockade, like basically the bridge where they're blocking, we start to see like, I would venture to say thousands of motos.
Yeah.
Like thousands of people on motorcycles going to and from the airport and the bridge, blocking it. Not blocking it, but like trying to get people past the blockade. And we basically get to the blockade, and because you can't go straight through the trucks, they had to get on the opposite side of the highway. So the motos were going this way, cars are coming this way, and like other motos are going that way.
Yeah,
and
it's like
they're just like weaving through each other. And then we had to get off on this little dirt road.
Only motorcycles. There were like 1 or 2 cars.
1 or 2 cars.
I don't know how they got there, but most of them.
But then we had to go on this dirt road. But to get on the dirt road, it was like a slope, a concrete slope, right? So the motorcycle did that perfectly. And then there was another concrete slope. Remember, where like the hundreds were trying to get through that one
hundreds of people trying to go through this one little spot because it was the only place not blocked. So it could only go 1 motorcycle at a time, and people were coming from both ways, and people kept getting stuck on the way up.
Stuck on the way up. And so there was a guy there like pushing motorcycles up so that they could get past.
Yeah.
Like even the guy that I was with on the motorcycle, he had to like use his foot to like guide the motorcycle down the slope and not to get stuck on the big concrete rocks that were on the thing. It was crazy.
Yeah.
And I was basically holding on to this man for dear life.
They were skilled drivers.
Very skilled.
Very thankful for that.
And right after that slope, though, it was like another short little like dirt road, and then I was at your parents' car.
Yeah, we made it. It was fun.
It was really fun. I was nervous at the airport because I was like, "What the heck? What if this random man just decides to like not take me to the parents.
Just kidnap you.
And just kidnap me. That's what I was thinking. And that's my American brain, like, going to the worst case scenario. But they were so cool.
They were cool. There's some, like, not safe for work events going on here as well. And we can talk about it in the exclusive part of the podcast.
What's
for
the
exclusive content. I'm just kidding. I don't have one yet, but we can make one.
Yeah.
Like, talk about all the stuff we don't talk about on camera. On that one. But anyways, we made it, and then we made it back to my dad's. And yeah, today was a great day. You know, yesterday we got my passport and stuff. We hung out with the neighbor. We got my dad a workout, and then today we did. What all did we do today?
Today we went to Cafe Valparaiso, and
Had
had breakfast.
really good brunch. And then we
Really
came
good.
back and did a session with the neighbor. Came back to do a sales call for a client for my online coaching. And then we did, when did we go for that?
We just went and got a massage.
Yeah, we went and got a massage and we had a spa day. Like we did hydrotherapy, aromatherapy.
A full massage.
We were in a hot tub.
Massage.
They gave us some chocolate wine.
Yeah.
There was a couples massage. Yeah, a whole spa day.
Yeah.
For like less than $50 each.
Yeah,
which is
that
pretty
was
wild.
crazy. I also
Yeah.
got a pedicure for like $3.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we got a
$4.
pedicure yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
16,000 pesos, and 4,100 pesos equals $1. So you can do the math. 16,000
It's like
pesos,
$4.
like $4 for a full pedicure. That's unheard of in the States. People pay $30, $40, $50 for a pedicure.
Yeah.
So that was amazing. And so then we went and got the massage, and we were gonna work out at the gym, but we felt so
tired.
relaxed after the
relaxed after
massage
the
that we
massage.
felt like, honestly, it would be working against the benefits of the massage if we worked out right after, because we would just be making ourselves more tense.
Yeah, and I want to do leg day.
So we'll
Legs
do
are
leg
looking
day
good on
tomorrow.
vacation.
Yeah.
So we'll do leg day tomorrow. But right now we've been sitting here at a little hangout spot. It's like a lounge. And we were like, fuck it, let's do our podcast here. You know, it's really just the event of the honeymoon. And we'll have to do another one where we kind of talk about your fitness journey and like, you know, how you bumped into ATG and all that good stuff as well. And kind of like what your role is, why you see Freak Athlete. We'll talk about all that on the next one, but yeah, just wanted to recap like the honeymoon, and we can probably like make a video blog about all this with like all the pictures and videos we have.
We can just overlay it.
Yeah, we can just overlay it, talk about it. But I think if we did like a video blog style, like a 5-minute one, I think that'd be even cool. Like we'll have the podcast, but like we could also just do like a 5-minute blog one. So we kind of overlay everything and talk about it.
Well, it's a blog, yeah.
Yeah. We'll do that too. And then we'll do part 2 of this when we go back to the States. Because we still have, like 8 days in Colombia?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, we got like another 8 days. Today's the 6th. So yeah, 8 more days.
Only 8.
I know. It's crazy. We're going to be going to Lago Calima. We're doing a tour of Cali sometime this week. So make sure you tune in for part 2 of the podcast of the Honeymoon series. Really, we're just documenting it for fun and to share with friends and to keep this as a memory for ourselves, because it's the best way to make content, right? It's just live your life. Live it well. Anything else you want to say? There you go. Peace out, guys. Thanks for listening to the podcast, our honeymoon recap, physical freedom, couple, Coach Tiff. Her story coming out soon. I love you.
I love you too.
Okay, bye-bye.